ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तपदगमनं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विशुभानुसुति तमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome to Bhagavad Gita, corporate Bhagavad Gita reading. We are continuing from where we stopped, that is 5th chapter, 10th verse. Just let me get the PPT. So, in this chapter, Arjuna asked this question that Krishna, you first asked me to renounce work, and then you recommend work with devotion. So, at first, you talk about in the fourth chapter, he talked about jnana, knowledge, in where the work is renounced. Okay, and then again then he told Arjuna, you stand up and fight, work with devotion. So both the things Krishna is saying, so which is best for me is Arjuna's question. So Krishna says that work with devotion is better than renunciation of work. Most of us, all of us, fall in this category of Arjuna. For us, working with devotion is better than renunciation of work. So what does this renunciation of work means? It's actually called as Sankhya Yoga. So in Sankhya Yoga, people interested in Sankhya Yoga, they go and they philosophically they try to analyze this world. Philosophically, they try to come to some conclusion. So you must have seen, Buddhists and all. They will be, um, they'll be introspecting. They'll be living far away from the city on the mountain tops. They'll be reading their books, doing meditation, and living a very secluded life, right? So Sankhya Yoga yogis also do same thing, and they analyze the material world into 24 elements. They do their meditation and all that, So to do that, to spend time over that meditation, study, and all that, one has to give up work, right? One cannot do together. Even if one try to do together, then uh, one will be disturbed, because everyday work disturbs us so much, right? So to fully focus, the Sankhya yogis used to live a life which is very detached. So when Arjuna asked this question, should I do this Sankhya yoga, or should I do renounce work? Krishna is saying no. You have to do work. You do it in a consciousness of devotion. Then it will be perfect. Okay. So okay. So then Krishna explains work in devotion. He says here renouncing of activities is not just one part. The other part should also be there, that devotion service to the Lord. Then one can be happy. Um, okay, then the person knows that he is not the doer. Now, last time we discussed this, you are not the doer, you are the initiator or the desirer. The actual work is done by the three modes of material nature. We always take this example, the excavator example. The work is actually done by machine, but definitely the soul initiated it. Therefore, he is liable for it. But the machine does not belong to him. He is just a worker there. The machine belongs to the super soul. So the super soul allows his machine to be used by the jiva to achieve his objective. Okay. Then is the jiva the doer? Well, he's the secondary doer, not the primary doer. So when in in uh, in in yoga, if we understand that we may be seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, breathing, but that is all done by the external body. It is not done by the soul. That is what is the understanding. When one gets to this understanding, then he's on the soul platform, right? He's on the spiritual platform. And then it is easy for him to be detached, to get away from attachment, right? Like, like we are in office. Now office company provides us certain things like bench, chair, a laptop, a keyboard, mouse. It provides us so many things, right? Now when we work, we know that we are using company's laptop, we know we are using company's chair, right? We don't say this is ours. So there we distinguish that I am working in this company, but I am not the company, right? Do you think like this? I am the company? No, I am working in this company. Similarly, if we are able to detach ourselves from our bodily attachment, then we can detach from the me and mine concept. We can detach from material enjoyment, everything. You understand this point? Suppose you may like, your let's say laptop of the company that has given you. Will you take it as yourself? Will you just take it and run away?
No, no, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So that's what Krishna is saying, that once we understand that this world belongs to him, there is nothing that I can renounce. Like last time I gave you the example, some person walking on the road will say, I renounce this bridge. There's a bridge on the river. He says, I renounce this bridge. The first question is whether that bridge belonged to him or not. Similarly, this body, whether it belongs to us or not, it is given to us for certain time, and then it is taken back, right? So that proprietorship, which is very much attached, when we get this understanding, we can detach ourselves from that. Okay. See, when
Uh,
when you resign from the company, then you become detached, right? What happens to the company, you don't worry. What happens to your colleagues, you don't worry, right? Yes or no?
yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, when you leave your school, your college, your university, or when you sell your car, or when you sell your two wheeler, or when you sell your house also, do you think after it anything more? You have become detached, right? The same thing which you were so attached to, your car, your house, now the moment you sold it, you become detached. Why? Because you came to this understanding, now it is not mine. Yes, I got the money. Now just think, this understanding comes to us in spiritual life, that all this touching, smelling, eating, moving, everything, the body is doing. The soul is actually not doing anything. And in that consciousness, if we perform any activity, it will be automatically done without attachment. Got it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So we'll move to our today's verse. Hmm?
Prabhuji,
Yeah, tell
the
me.
is not the doer. We applaud not to.
I'm not able to hear you properly.
to.
I'm not able to hear you properly. Tell again, or some
One
interruption.
second, one second, Prabhuji. Uh, I had this doubt that soul is not the doer. But in 18th chapter, Prabhuji, that shloka is there, no? Adhisthaya tatha karta karanam cha prasvidam. Soul is also one of the five doers of the
Yeah.
uh, of,
So he's
of
the
any
secondary doer.
action. No? How do we understand this, Prabhuji?
Secondary. He's the secondary doer, not the primary.
First, first doer are the modes of nature.
I mean, they carry out the whole thing, Mataji. They carry out the actual work, no? Like that.
But soul desires, no,
Yes,
Prabhuji,
soul
that.
desires. Yes, soul desires.
And it gets it done through them, no? Because it needs a body to execute its desire.
No. The thing is, how he gets it done is also there is a understanding that the super soul permits that let it be done. Then the three modes work. Okay, the super soul he permits.
Okay.
Yeah. So did we go past it or something? Maybe. There are five. Krishna says, right? There are five. Huh. There are five causes of accomplishment of any action. The place of action, the body. See, this body is given to us. The performer, the soul, the various senses, parts of the body, and the different kind of endeavors that the performer does in this body, senses. Okay, and ultimately the super soul. So what happens is the performer can use this body, his senses, and do these different kinds of endeavors if the super soul permits it. Like that it is. Like here also, the operator can use this excavator until the company gives him permission, right? Without permission, he cannot even take that thing from the company, right? It's like that. If he's an employee of
Yes,
the
Prabhuji.
company, does it mean that he can take any of the device?
No.
Yeah. So there is an implicit permission given. So sometimes, implicitly he may take his tools. But let's say if he has to take some other tools, some other car, some other office, then he needs all permission, right? Even though he works in that company. Same way, in our body we have implicit permission from the super soul. Okay, there is an implicit permission, and therefore it seems like the performer is able to do so many kinds of endeavors and all that, but ultimately it is a permission which is already given to us by the super soul. In some bodies this permission is not there, so people are disabled, they cannot see, they cannot hear, right? Even though eyes are there, but the power to see is not there. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
See, this is what we need to understand. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, you need to understand the only doer, not considering the five factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. And this is the gist. Okay? 18.16. 18.16 is the gist. This is a small paragraph, so I'll read this first. A foolish person cannot understand that super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting his actions. So who is conducting his actions? Super soul. Conductor, bus conductor. You must have seen this, no? What is this? Music conductor. Let's see. Yeah, have you seen this music conductor? They are doing like this, like this, like this, like this, like this.
Yeah, orchestration.
Orchestration. Yeah. So all the musicians look at him and they see how he's moving the stick and all that, so they understand. So this is what the super soul is also doing. He's conducting. Okay. Although the material causes are the place, the workers, the endeavors, and the senses, the final cause is the supreme. the personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, but the supreme efficient cause as well. Supreme efficient cause means, meaning, one may put so many endeavors, but does he get success?
Not necessarily.
Yes, that not necessary thing is because of the supreme efficient cause executed by the super soul or Krishna. So he is the final decision maker. Okay. So if I put I once made a mathematical formula for this. If I put this, in a mathematical formula, you can understand. So 4 factors, right? Let someone join or something.
Mataji joined.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 4 factors, right? Yeah, these are the ones.
Mhm.
So it's like this. Okay, so let's put it like this. The place of action plus performer up plus senses plus endeavors. Let's reduce this. Okay, these 4 things are there. Multiplied by super soul is equal to, or let's put it like this, accomplishment of any work. You understand this equation? Mathematical equation?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. So we may do a lot of endeavor and all that, it adds up. But it's like a multiplier. Now if the super soul, let's put some numbers to it.
Yeah, if it is zero, then
Then
I
zero is
do
gone, right?
it's zero. Yeah.
So the super soul can desire anything. 0,
Yeah.
0.1,
Yeah.
1, right? He has full range from 0 to 1.
Correct.
So this is the mathematical representation of this. We cannot make such a representation, but it's just to help us understand. Does this help help you understand, Mataji?
Prabhuji, actually, my signal was little, I mean, it was like on and off. Yeah, could you just explain it once again, Prabhuji? Little bit?
Oh, okay, okay. So, so we were talking about the 18th verse, right? No, 18th, 16th.
Yes,
You
Prabhuji.
read this, right? Therefore, one who thinks himself to be the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. You read this, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. In the purport, we read that the super soul is conducting all actions. So we were discussing about music conductor and all that. So they are conducting. Now, after the whole concert, who is awarded? The conductor is awarded, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Individual players are not awarded. So who is conducting? Super soul is conducting. Okay. So one should not just see that 4 material elements are the causes, but they should understand that the super soul is the supreme efficient cause. So to understand this, I put a mathematical formula. So for any accomplishment of work, it is like this: the body, the performer, senses, endeavors, they add up, right? They add up.
Yes.
But the whole thing is then multiplied by the desire of the super soul. Now the super soul can decide whether to take value 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9 or 1. And then you can understand why certain accomplishments of work are, not to the expectation. Sometimes it is half. Sometimes it doesn't come even. Sometimes it come as we desire, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, because ultimate supreme efficient cause is the super soul.
So I have a follow-up question with
Yeah.
Mataji's question. So you, in the 15th text of 18th chapter, you mentioned that it was mentioned that the Krishna is the supreme doer. Okay, in somewhere either in 16th or somewhere you showed me. Yeah, on the 14th text. Ultimately the super soul is the doer. So why? And you also mentioned that like this is the by default it is allowed. Like super soul is already allowed
Yeah, yeah.
whatever we want
Implicitly, he has given permission.
implicitly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, permission for everything. So
Yes.
why is that? Because we see that there are a lot of. I'm just trying to relating this with the material life,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but trying to understand in a spiritual point of view as well. But there are multiple criminal activities as happens every day.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you think that Super Soul is actually approving this thing as well?
Yes. So super soul is neutral. Okay. He acts like a neutral judge. Hmm? He assesses the past and present karma. Okay. It assesses the past and present karma and
Mm.
provides the result. It's like that.
Uh, then, Prabhu,
So
in
yes,
that case,
it is true that bad people, evil-minded people, the super soul is sanctioning their desires. That's why they are able to do it and all that. But
mm,
we need to understand that it's like a neutral judge.
mhm.
Okay, he's
So,
acting like a neutral person. Okay, he's acting like a neutral person, not even like a judge or something. Even just like a neutral person is acting.
mm,
Judge means he may take a decision not to give and all that. Yeah, that is also true. But in cases of evil people and all this, then he's allowing it. So what kind of judgment is that? So mostly the explanation is that he is neutral. He's definitely the permitter. So let me use this word permitter. That is the word used. Neutral permitter. Sometimes parents, they just allow their children. Okay, okay, you want it so much, so let's give you. Okay, even though they know it's a waste or it may be not good for him or her. But they will just allow because what to do? The child is making a big fuss out of it, so they just allow. So that time they acted neutrally. Similarly, the super soul also acts neutrally. And he awards the body, the result of the work, depending on our past and present karma and endeavor and credits and all that.
mm. So in that case, Prabhu,
Yeah.
uh, having a desire for something, and we are trying to do some action, okay? And you mentioned the four factors like that you have mentioned here, and the ultimate the fifth factor is Krishna. But I think the sixth factor is the karma also, right?
Karma means the different kinds of endeavors.
Okay. No, I mean karma that person has done before, because on the basis of because if someone is getting killed on somewhere on the road, so he might not have endeavor for that. Okay, but because of some karma, he is getting
Okay.
killed by someone on the road.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what do you think about it, Prabhu?
Winning think means what?
I mean, I just wanted to understand your opinion on that. Like, do you think that this?
See, the thing is,
I mean,
the karma, the law of karma works behind the scene and it is
mhm,
complex to understand. Okay. It is
mhm,
complex to understand. Um, at our level, we are not meant to judge. Okay. Because we are not the judge. We are part of this karma machine.
mhm.
So at our level, when we see such things happening, we have to act according to dharma. So for us, it is not karma, but to act according to dharma is more important. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In another shloka, I remember reading, like in the shloka, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gune Karmani Sarvashah Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartaham iti manyate. There it is said that modes only do all the
Yeah.
things, no, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Then where do modes fit into this
See, the
this
three modes
context,
are
Prabhuji?
in everything. Na? They are in senses, they are in the body, they are in the different kinds of
Okay.
endeavors.
Acha, acha. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
So I was talking like if we have to look at all that is happening around us, and we should know that behind the scene karma is working. But just because karma is working and all that, and something is happening doesn't make us aloof from the dharma. We have to still act according to dharma. So um, so in this case of accident and all that, right? If we can save a person, we have to save a person, because that is what is dharma. Dharma is what? To save a person, right? And if we think no, this is according to karma, so let that person die, then that is wrong. That is a dharma. You had that power to save, but you didn't save, like that. um
Yeah.
okay. So the thing is, when we give explanation about karma, we have to be very careful in public, even to friends and family members and all that. Behind the scene, definitely karma works and things are orchestrated according to karma. But 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 people may not accept that explanation. There are two reasons for it. It is very difficult to explain, and second thing, it sounds like it is injustice done. Okay, it sounds like it is injustice done. That poor fellow didn't knew his karma, still it came upon him and he had to go undergo so thing. People will say like that, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
yeah, so in that case we should not give the explanation of karma in the public. This is a philosophical explanation. Okay, it
Mm.
has to be given by people who can see past, present and future. Okay, such kind of explanations, right, of karma and all that is given by Narad Muni, Vyasadev, Sukdev Goswami, or Lord Shiva, and sometimes Lord Brahma also. Why? Because they are at that level. Even Yamraj, they are at that level, they can say such thing, right? Because they can see past, present, future. Not always, but at that particular moment they are given that power to see that past, present, future. You're getting?
Yes, Prabhu.
Sukdev
Yes,
Goswami could
Prabhuji.
see that future, that 7 days, Parikshit Maharaj is going to be bit.
Mm. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, he could see that future. Indeed, the Brahmanas, when Parikshit Maharaj was born, right, the Brahmanas were looking at his astrologer when he was born. So maybe, few many decades before, in Yudhishthir Maharaj, when Yudhishthir Maharaj was there. So there, they saw and they told, this fellow is going to die by a snake bite. At that point, Yudhishthir Maharaj didn't say anything. He's like, he's not considering that information. There are two reasons for it. One is that this is life, and second is that he has seen so many deaths in Mahabharat war that it doesn't bother him now. More importantly, he asked, will he act according to dharma or not? See, this was his question. Will he act according to dharma? How he'll be like a dharmic king or not? That was his question. We will just shortly visit that place where he asked this question. So I understand, karma is very difficult to understand, um, but what to do? We are not to speak in public, right? We have to discuss it in like this, philosophical talk only. And in public, we
Yes.
should act according to dharma. So I'll just show you. Um, I'll just show you here. Here, this child will be father of the king for world, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So after hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by the son of a Brahmana, he will get himself freed from the material damage, surrender onto personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him. So this is what the Brahmanas are telling Yudhishthira Maharaj. Uh, okay. Maybe in the purport. Okay. So, here. Oh, great souls, will he become saintly as a king, pious in his very name, and famous and glorified in his achievements, as others who have appeared in this great royal family? See, this is what is Yudhishthira Maharaj inquiring. Tell me about this. So he was more concerned about this than the snake bite. Where the snake bite is now. Okay, here now in the purport, Prabhupada writes few more things. We'll just okay. Maharaj Parikshit, being especially attached to the Lord from the beginning of his body in the womb of his mother, was continuously under the shelter of Lord. And the so-called warning of his death within 7 days from the date of his curse by the Brahmana's son was a boon to him to enable him to prepare himself go back to God. So, when Yudhishthira Maharaj knew that he's a devotee of the Lord, right? He knew that even if he dies um, in a situation which is not that great, snake bite and all that, he'll be protected by the Lord, because that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj saw in his life. He saw, right, Krishna doing the same. So he was not worried of all this karma and all that. So anyway, I'm just trying to explain that point you asked. But remember one thing: this philosophy of karma, we should not explain it to common people, especially in a place where something bad has happened. Rather, we should explain what is dharma. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a philosophical concept. So
Prabhuji, but most of the time people keep talking about it. No, normal people
the
also, if
thing is,
anything bad happens to anyone, they say it is their karma. They are suffering because
yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah. The thing is, common people, they are not like Sukhdev Goswami, Narad Muni, and all that. They think they can also speak like
Um,
that.
Everybody says, Prabhuji, whatever good, bad things
Yeah,
happen, they
yeah, yes,
immediately
yes,
say that
yes,
it is
yes.
their karma
Yeah,
and they
but
try to
see, as a
like,
devotee, we should understand, right? Behind the scene, karma is
um,
definitely working, but we don't have that adhikar to tell and explain and give a reason and all that. Rather, we should think in terms of dharma. What could have been done to stop that? Okay, that is what is
yes,
dharma. Otherwise, what happens is, if somebody does some mistake, then he cannot say this is karma, right? Can you give that reasoning? Oh, this was set to happen,
Right.
so it
they
happened.
try to console themselves by saying that,
No,
no,
console is
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
fine, but they
Okay,
may
this
try
is
Exactly,
to
this
Mataji.
hide
is
their
what.
mistakes, na? They may try to hide that
Yeah.
mistake,
Um,
which is a problem. Which is the problem with saying such things.
Yeah, they will start taking karma very loosely.
Yeah, yeah. Now you get it. Yeah. So it is not like that. We have to act according to dharma, and then so many endeavors we did in dharma, but still the result didn't come. Then we should accept this is providence. Okay. Like this is said by Kripacharya in Mahabharat war. They said we tried so hard to defeat these Pandavas. We had the biggest army, the best warriors, but all of them died. We are endeavoring so much, but still nothing is, they are not been touched. All five still remain. Not even one is dead. Kripacharya says this. So that means that the providence really wanted them to win. It is only later that he says this thing. Okay. But the 18 days of the war was like so much endeavors were done. So it is like this. Okay. Now we'll get to our today's verse. This one. Brahmani adya karmani sangam twakta karotiya lipyantena cha papena padma patram ivam asa. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results onto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by the sinful acts as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. So, how we should perform our duty? Without attachment. Without attachment to what? Fruits. And then surrender the result to Sri Krishna. In such a way, then there is no sinful action. We take the example of a soldier. He performs his duty of killing without attachment. Not like he likes somebody, so he will kill that person. Not like that. He's doing his duty according to dharma. Whether he's been attacked, whether he sees terrorists, right? Then he uses his gun. So that is also without attachment. And then he surrenders the result to the king, the administration, the country, right? He doesn't say, I did it, I did it. He doesn't go around running around the road and saying, I did it, I did it. No, right? He says the country did it or the king did it. Then, with such a consciousness, he is not liable for the criminal act of killing. He is just like a lotus leaf which is untouched by water. Okay. So the example of a soldier, right, fits in very much like this. So Krishna is also telling Arjuna, you become that soldier where you do your duty without attachment and surrender the results onto the Supreme Lord. Now, in this whole thing, right, the duty, when duty is spoken, right, duty is to act according to dharma. Okay, that is the meaning of duty. So that is understanding that whenever the word duty is used, it's like that. It's always aligned with dharma. Otherwise, terrorist may also use this thing and he will say, okay, I offer this killing to the Supreme Lord and I won't be affected by sinful. No, his duty was not that. His duty was, adharmic. So therefore, this he cannot apply this line to himself. Okay, adharmic activities are not duty. Dharmic activities are duty. Okay, this is a very important point to understand. You any question on this?
No, Prabhu.
No,
Okay.
Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji.
Okay. See, there are two things that people try to exploit from Bhagavad Gita. This is one thing, to do activities without attachment and surrender it to God. And second thing is, everything happens because of karma. जो भी होना है, जो भी हो रहा है, जो भी हुआ है, भगवान की इच्छा है, इसमें हमारी क्या है, like they will say like this, but actually in the whole Bhagavad
Yes,
Gita it's not like
Prabhuji.
that. Yeah,
On
the
the
thing is,
calendars also they print that. I don't know
yeah,
which
so
shloka it is,
yeah,
but
there is no shloka which tells like that.
whatever is
Yeah,
happening
even we
happens
use
for the good. Whatever will happen is also for the good, like that.
Now,
Something.
which shloka tells that? Actually, the whole
Ah,
Bhagavad Gita
yes,
that shloka
Prabhuji.
doesn't come. So they so so yeah.
Gita
So
Sar, they say Gita Sar.
Gita sir, but that's not Gita sir. According to us, what is Gita sir? If I ask you, what is Gita sir?
Surrender, Prabhuji. Surrender to the Supreme Lord.
Yes,
Sarva
surrender to
dharman
Krishna.
parityajya.
Yes. Now, if I
yeah,
ask you
that's
in
true.
which shloka that is said, can you tell me the shloka
Eight-
number?
18th
18 point,
chapter, I think.
18.66, no, Prabhuji?
Ha, 18/66.
66.
But Krishna is saying you surrender unto me, right? Did
Yes,
Arjuna
Prabhuji.
agree to this? Which is the shloka where Arjuna says, I agree to this?
Nashto moha smritir labdhva, that shloka,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Nashtamoha Sitilabha.
Smritir labdhva.
It's near to that verse only, 66.
72, Prabhuji?
No. Before that only he says, Tava, hearing this from me, thus have explained it. Surrender. Become conscious. Always become my devotee. Abandon for those who have experienced those I should declare this. Oh, okay. 73. Yeah, 73 he says. Nashtamohasmiti labda. Karishya vachanatava. I will do according to what you have said. I shall execute your order. So yeah, these two verses that we have to do as per Krishna says, which Arjuna confirmed in 18.73. That is our conclusion, right? But they don't come to that conclusion. Okay. So here Brahmani means in Krishna consciousness. Oh, Brahmani, sorry, it's called Brahmani. The material world is a sum total of the three modes of material nature, technically called the Pradhana. The Vedic hymns Sarvam hi etat Brahman, Mandukya Upanishad, and again Mandukya Upanishad, and Bhagavad Gita 14.3, Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma, indicates that everything in this material world is manifestation of Brahman. And although the effects are differently manifested, they are not different from the cause. In the Upanishad, it said that everything is related to the Supreme Brahman or Krishna, and that everything belongs to him alone only. One who knows perfectly well everything belongs to Krishna, and that he is the proprietor of everything, and therefore everything is engaged in the service of Krishna. Naturally, he has nothing to do with the results of his activities, whether virtuous or sinful. Even one's material body being a gift of the Lord. Now, this is what I was trying to say, that this body is actually a gift of the Lord. For carrying out a particular action, can we engage in Krishna consciousness? It is then beyond the contamination by the sinful reactions, exact like a lotus leaf, though remaining in the water is not wet. The Lord also says in Gita 3.3:30, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasa, resign all your works unto me. The conclusion is that a person without Krishna consciousness acts according to the concept of material body and senses. But a person in Krishna consciousness acts according to the knowledge that the body is the property of Krishna and therefore should be engaged in the service of Krishna. I was giving the example of a company, right? Working in a company. There are two employees. One employee thinks, this is my company, but these things belong to me. So I can steal from here. Like I had one person who actually stole a laptop from the company. And the reason what he gave was, for many months I saw that laptop on the table. For many months. And no one picked it. So I picked it up. When no one is taking it, I picked it up. Will you do that thing? No, right?
No problem.
So yes. So similarly, this body belongs to Krishna, and therefore I will engage it in the service of Krishna. And when we start doing this, there's a particular verse which says, I'm forgetting, Jivado. There one word is there, Jivado. Seva. So when we start serving Krishna, the first thing is we use is our tongue in chanting his holy name, glorifying him, and reading Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, explaining to others. So that's the way we start our service to Krishna. Okay. When I get to that particular verse, I'll show. It's called Jivado. Sevanomukhi Jivado. Yes, that's the verse. Sevanomukhi Jivado. Let's see. This verse is there in Bhagavad Gita. Somewhere Prabhupada writes. Sevano. Let's see. Here it is. Atah krishi krishna namadi na bhavet grayam indriye sevan mukhi jivado swayam eva spurute adha. So this is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Interesting number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can remember, like, no one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, qualities of pastimes of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. So our senses are materially contaminated, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So how can we understand Krishna? We cannot understand Krishna. But the next line says, only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. So if we use our senses in his service and do this transcendental service, sevan ho mukhi hi jivado. The word jiva is also used. Let's see. See, only one who is engaged in pure devotion service under proper guidance is his revealed. Is there a word like jiva? So this word jiva, right, can be, sometimes said as tongue.
Tongue. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
So the seva
Vacho
starts
Vegam. Vacho Vegam. In
jiva.
that's
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it
yeah,
comes,
yeah, yeah.
Prabhuji.
So what I'm saying is sevano mukhe hi jivado. So that seva starts with jiva, tongue. So when we start using that, then Krishna's name, his pastimes, everything start revealing to us. So service is so important. Okay, service is also so important. By serving only we
So,
understand Krishna. That is the meaning of this verse.
so what is transcendental service means? I mean, what kind of service we call as a transcendental?
Which is not three modes of material nature. So what are
Okay.
services under three modes of material nature? Where person desires some fruit out of it. Where one does it for one own gratification. This is for my
Hmm.
enjoyment. Transcendental service is to give enjoyment to Krishna.
Okay. Okay. So you mean like if I do my office work and I whatever the result, if I
Hmm.
giving the result back to Krishna, or I'm doing my duty for Krishna, so that service, doing my office work, become a transcendental service.
So if you offer the result to Krishna, okay, offering
Yeah,
the
yeah.
result to Krishna is is utilizing it in Krishna's service in temple,
Hmm,
in propagation of Bhagavad Gita and all that, in serving devotees
hmm,
and sadhus. Okay,
hmm.
so so yeah, this is a story of a fruit seller, and she came to Krishna, and that time it was barter system, some grains, and you can exchange it with fruits, like that it was. So Krishna, he knew this barter system, so he bought some grains in his hands, and he gave it to her, and by she was so enamored by his beauty that 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 she tried to fill Krishna with all his, with all the fruits that she had, and Krishna in return, the grains that he put in her basket, they turned jewels. So this is the nature of transcendental service, that she was not interested in jewels, she was not interested in those seeds and all that, she just wanted to please Krishna. Okay,
Yeah, got
materially
it.
we may think, what is there for me, what I'm going to get out of it. That is all questions, comes in our mind. So there is duality, but when there is selfless service, then it is transcendental service. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैर इंद्रियैरपि योगिन कर्म कुर्वन्ति संगम त्वक्तात्मा शुद्धये. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with senses only for the purpose of purification. This is another meaning. Transcendental service is done for purification also. Krishna, I don't want anything, just purify me. Like that. One who acts in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the senses of Krishna. Yes. This is what I was saying. This is called transcendental service. Any action, whether the body, mind, intelligence, or even the senses, is purified of the material contamination. So what happens is, she was so purified that she came for some money or some grains, right? She became so purified that she was not even thinking about that. I don't want grains, I don't want anything. Krishna, I only want to give it to you. Like that. So there is no material reaction resulting from the activities of Krishna conscious person. Therefore, the purified activities, which are generally called sadachara, can be easily performed by acting in Krishna consciousness. Srila Rupa Goswami Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says 1 to 187. A person acting in Krishna consciousness, see this word is used, Jivan Mukta Suchyate. Iha yassa hare dasya karmana manasa gira. Nikhilashava api avasthasu Jivan Mukta Suchyate. A person acting in Krishna consciousness, in other words, in the service of Krishna, with the body, mind, intelligence, and word, is a liberated person, even within this world. So our senses are definitely contaminated, but because we are acting, we are following in the footsteps of the pure devotees, the acharyas, and serving Krishna by chanting his holy name, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. When we do all these things, even though we are in this material world, we are actually liberated. And we may be engaged in other activities also. Even though he may be engaged in many so-called material activities. Doing our job, this, that. But because we have decided to use it in Krishna's service, then we are almost liberated. It's like that. We are on the liberated platform. He has no false ego, he has no false ego, for he does not believe that he is the material body, and that he possesses the body. Okay, he has become detached from the body. He knows that he is not this body, and this body does not belong to him. He himself belongs to Krishna, and the body too belongs to Krishna. When he applies everything produced of the mind, body, intelligence, words, life, wealth, etc., he applies everything, meaning he gives to Krishna whatever he may have within his position to Krishna's service. He at once dovetailed with Krishna. He is one with Krishna and is devoid of false ego that leads one to believe that he is the body, etc. This is the perfect stage of transcendental consciousness. Okay. युक्त कर्म फलम त्वक्ता शांतिम अपनोति नैष्टिकीम अयुक्त काम कारेण फल सक्तो निबध्यते. A steady devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me, whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. This is self-explanatory. If we do it for our selfish purpose, then we become entangled, right? Entangled, meaning we get caught in our own net. We are liable for everything. The difference between a person in Krishna and a person in bodily consciousness is that former is attached to Krishna, while the latter is attached to the result of his activities. The person who is attached to Krishna works only for him, only is certainly liberated person, and he has no anxiety over the results of his work. Just like Hanuman, he burnt the whole Lanka in anger of insult to Sita. But he was not in anxiety for others, kind of, because Ravana did punish him. But yeah, like that. Because he did it in service to Lord Ram, right? He doesn't have to be in anxiety. Over the result of the activity is explained as being one's functioning in the conception of duality, that is, without knowledge of the absolute truth. Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. In Krishna consciousness, there is no duality. All that exists is a product of Krishna's energy, and Krishna is all good. Therefore, activities in Krishna consciousness are on the absolute platform, and they are transcendental and have no material effect. One is therefore filled with peace in Krishna consciousness. But one who is entangled in profit calculation for sense gratification cannot have that peace. See, one who does profit calculation, right? Peace is very difficult for that person, right? Um, Even in material sense also, like those who are in stock market and all that, for them, if they have 1 crore rupees of profit, they say, oh, I just got 1 crore. He got 10 crores. The 10 crore guy will say, I just got 10 crores. But the other person got 100 crores of profit, right? So all these things will go on, and the peace won't be there. That satisfaction won't be there. Chalo, I got my 1 crore, be happy, or I got my 10 crore, be happy, right? That peace is not there. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is the platform of peace and fearlessness. So if you have faith on Krishna, right, then peace and peaceful fearlessness will come in us. Okay. Any question or comment?
Prabhuji, then it's wrong to invest like in this all these shares, mutual funds, whatever. They definitely bring a lot of anxiety whether it is going up or going down. Then is it not right to invest in such things, Prabhuji?
So the thing is, this shares and all that is a modern phenomena, and we have to deal with it.
That's what, Prabhu.
Yeah, and the thing is, see, even if you do FD and all that, right? Ultimately, the bank also puts it in share market. That's where they are getting their 8%, 9%, and they are giving back to the uh, person who has done FD 6%, 7%, whatever. They eat the 1%, or they eat 0.5%, or whatever. So, so today the economy system is like this, share market and all that. It's a lot of driven by that. So the government has made some rules and all that this should be played this way, and all that. So we should play by the rules of the government. The problem happens when some people find loopholes in it and they try to exploit it. Then you won't be peaceful. Second thing is investing in mutual funds, investing in shares and all that, right? One needs to be knowledgeable also. Why to invest, how to do the analysis and all that. Otherwise, it's not just
We do it
throwing
someone,
money.
Prabhuji.
What?
Don't
Sorry?
do it direct, like we do it through someone, no? Then it is also wrong.
That's what I'm coming to. Whoever we do it through should be knowledgeable and should be respectable. Not just knowledgeable, but respectable person also. Authorized by respectable companies, and they will do the headache because that is part of their duty. They will do the headache of maintaining the portfolio and all that.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So
But the bottom line is
That is
that
one.
anything that doesn't give, investing in something which doesn't give us peace, we should not do that.
so the thing is, now Mataji, anything you take in share market, like if you take the crypto and all that, definitely there's a problem. If you take some stocks which are like every day increasing, decreasing, like water, then definitely. So so yeah, I mean, devotees who are doing the share market now, what they have recommended is that um, buying shares and all that is very tricky unless you have studied or something, the company.
Yes, Prabhu.
You can then handle it, otherwise it's very difficult. So the recommendation is put it in SIP or mutual funds.
Yeah, yeah. I think the mutual fund is simple. You can just
Yeah, because
invest some
that
amount,
headache
and
of
they will
maintaining.
basically going to invest in market only.
Yes. So there are these managers, fund managers who are very knowledgeable,
Yeah.
and they will take the headache of where to put the money and all that. And definitely, it's called like the distributed investment. You distribute it over many companies, many areas, and money will grow slowly. Don't look for quick money. So all this profit calculation and all that is driven by what? Quick money, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So don't look for quick
There
money.
are certain, I
Hmm?
mean, Prabhu, there are certain mutual funds there where you can get high returns and all, but they are risky also.
Yeah, yeah, it's called high
So
risk, high return.
yeah, so it's like gambling only. So which I think we should be beware of. Like we should
That's
be
why I was
a little
asking
bit
Prabhuji.
aware. Yeah, because
So yeah,
it
you see,
violates the core regulatory principle
yeah.
in that case.
So the thing is, to do it with a knowledgeable person is what I would suggest.
Hmm.
Okay, to do it with a knowledgeable person.
Okay, Prabhuji.
And the second thing is, of course, we are driven by profit calculation, but we should be actually driven by calculating how much donation are we going to do. Instead of this, what is the opposite of that? Calculation of donation. If that is our motivation, this should be going up in our mind rather than this. But this will happen because we are in this material world. Definitely, some profit calculation will happen. But if nothing of this thing happens, donation calculation does not happening, then what is the use of this profit calculation? Getting?
Yes,
Yeah, so
Prabhuji.
So
just fix some percentage, whatever you profit. If you have high
okay,
profit,
okay.
the
What is the
donation will be
percentage? What is
higher.
the recommended percentage of donation? If I ask you,
I don't know. Bro.
50% no, Prabhuji. 50% from
so
the
it is
whatever
at
we
most
earn.
50%. It is at most 50%.
At most 50%. Yeah.
Basically, you can start from point one to and go to 50%. Who did this? Who came up with
Sukadev,
this planning?
Sukadev,
No, Rupa
Sukadeva
Goswami.
Goswami,
No, no,
someone
Rupa
Prabhuji?
Goswami. So Rupa
Sukadeva
Goswami, when
Goswami.
he was leaving
Rupa Goswami.
everything and going to Vrindavan, he divided 50% of the wealth, and 50% he kept for emergencies. He gave 50% of it to relatives for donation, etc., etc. Like this he did. So he set this example. So we also follow that same example. At most 50%.
Prabhuji, then government also takes 30%, no?
So
It,
that's the
it,
thing, now,
it will,
Mataji.
it
Like
will be.
one devotee asked me, should we calculate donation on the in hand or the total?
The
Acha,
actual, I
gross.
think it should be in hand.
Take home, take home. Okay.
So I would say we should not think in this terms, because that also time we are just calculating profit only. Okay, we are thinking
Yes,
about
Prabhuji.
profit only in that term. So donation should be charity, right? Charity should be selfless. It should be voluntarily, not forcibly, and it should be through heart. I really want to give this. And Krishna says about this charity in the 18th chapter. We'll read that and we will stop. But it's a very interesting concept. See, acts of charity are not to be given up. Okay, they have to be done. Okay, so not in the 18th, but in the 17th. See, charity is to be given out of duty, without expectation of return, at proper time and place, and to a worthy person, is said to be in mode of goodness. So this is what we should strive for. And there are other kinds of charity. What is that? It is performed with the expectation of some return. How much return am I going to take? That is same profit calculation. and with the desire for fruitive results, or in a grudging mood. I don't want to give, but I have to give you, like that, you know. And then charity performed to an impure place, improper time, unworthy people, without proper attention and respect, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. In United States, there is a charity for casino also, that is completely impure, right? It's a place of gambling, and people can do charity for that, to start a gambling place. Or some relative or some friend may come and I'm starting a alcohol business. Can you give me some charity? That is all charity in mode of ignorance. So these two are to be avoided, and this should be in our focus, that it is to be done out of duty, without expectation, to a worthy person, in a proper place and time. Okay. Any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
No problem.
Okay. Okay, so we'll stop here.